Story 01. The Light. This story took place in Marneo, Chicago. Early June 21st. My friend and I were staying there for a week's vacation. One night after dinner, we went for a walk along the river in Hot Springs State Park. Across the river and along the bank, a road runs through T Hill. It is named after the white stone letter T that represents Thermopolis. I heard this place is haunted. People here believe so. There is a lot of ghostly activity here. Last year, I climbed this hill. A small part of the path is visible from the road. And if you look carefully, parts of it can be seen moving upwards. I am well aware of this because it took me about an hour to get to the top. And I have been to Thermopolis and the park many times. But today I was a little scared. It was the night before we decided to take a walk. The sun had just set. It was raining lightly, and there had been a storm about an hour earlier. Looking out over the river, I noticed a bright white-blue light on the T Hill. This light was moving up the pre-planned path. I pointed out this light to my friend. I said it was not a flashlight, because the light was not a beam, but more like a ball. We both wondered if someone was hiking on a steep, challenging trail in the rain at night, but we decided it was probably not. And the light was moving much faster than a person hiking. He suggested a person biking up the hill. As far as I could figure, that was the only logical explanation, so we stood there and waited to see this person either go around the switchbacks and go up the hill or turn back and go down. Neither of these happened. The light disappeared. We had a perfect view of the hillside and I knew exactly where the first switchback was. That should have taken a person going the other direction up the hill. He didn't go up or down. He just disappeared. We kept walking and looking. He never appeared again. We went back to our truck and parked on a raised spot to look for him. The strange light didn't appear again, and we waited for about 20 minutes. Shortly after we got back to my mom's house, where we were staying, we told her what we had seen. She was not surprised and told me that both locals and tourists see strange lights on the hills and mountains that are visible outside of town and in the park. She also told me that someone had died on that trail years ago. Wyoming has a strange uneasiness at night that I can feel in my stomach every time I go there. It's still mostly wildland. This state has the smallest population in the United States. I believe there are a lot of paranormal phenomena there. This area and the surrounding states are notorious for strange activity. I have no solid idea of what I saw that night. Maybe a ghost or some kind of supernatural creature. Or there could be a more common explanation, ball lightning. Or some other unexplained scientific phenomenon. But whatever it is, Wyoming is a beautiful, somewhat spooky state that I will continue to explore. Story 02. There is no easy way to tell the story of what it was like to face Hawaii. I will not give my name. So given the gravity of this story, I will be called Ijaka. Before you read on, know one damn thing. This story is 50% true without any exaggeration. So without further ado, let's get to the beginning of my frightening but eye-opening experience. On September 1, 1982, I was driving into the Bighorn Mountains above Buffalo, Wyoming. As with all trips, I packed appropriately, 2 bottles of water, 6 Nutri-Grain bars and my loaded handgun. I went up 4 to 5 times a week, not worrying about stories of ghosts or monsters. As far as I knew, these mountains were harmless, except for the occasional predators that appeared and the vagaries of the weather. But on September 13, something changed inside me. Instead of going to my usual wilderness, I went to a remote campsite called Hettinger, 15 miles outside of town. It's a beautiful place where if you get past the fence, you can climb to the top and watch for days. As I was looking out over the majestic, snow-covered landscape, I noticed a tall, thin figure marching through the snow sheet. Usually I would have shot it down like a predator on the move, but Hettinger was far from any known hunting ground. Even today I wish I had packed up and left. I wish I hadn't peered through my binoculars, but sometimes keeping curiosity at bay is the only safe option. I'll never forget the moment I peered through the cold glass onto the winter plateau. As I focused my lenses and the figure became clear, I moved behind the rocks. He was staring back at me, as if he could see me. This would have been impossible for a human. I was hidden by a rock 300 feet or so away and within a line of trees. I peered up again, only to see it above my head. It was just standing there sniffing the air and looking at me. My heart sank and I couldn't move. I was frozen with fear. About 100 feet behind me was a small rocky cave, big enough to crawl into and hide in the dark. I slowly moved forward, slowly backing up. I took one last look and saw it running toward me. I moved as quickly as I could to the hole and ducked into it. As soon as I got there, the creature was standing just a few feet away from me. Its skin looked wet and gray. It also had long hands and fingers that turned into dagger-like nails. I cupped my mouth to catch my breath, which was a challenge because of the cold. But as I reached my hand out, a rock fell down. I looked at the rock, then looked up and his cold eyes were peering through the hole. It seemed like he couldn't see me, but he knew there was something there. I stood still like a statue. He reached in, almost grabbed my bag. After 5 minutes of constant looking, he gave up and started sniffing again. I waited there in shock, a terrible weight of fear weighing on me every second. Darkness fell as night fell and he finally disappeared. I waited until I was confident enough to stick my head out. I looked around and saw nothing, not even footprints. I focused my steps to stay quiet and walked back to my car. I opened it with the key instead of the button lock. I got in and sat down and looked around for the last time. Finally I got up the courage and sped up my car and started on the road towards the main highway. Just as I was about to turn, I saw him. He was standing as tall as the trees and staring at me. I pressed the gas and ran like a fishtail, but I escaped. As soon as I reached the main road, he was following me and walking with me. After driving a few miles I looked back and he was gone. Please subscribe this channel, thank you.